Hi there, and welcome to my new video. In this video I will discuss the 18-105 APS-C lens from Sony, 18-105 millimeters. I had a good chance to test out this lens in the last couple of days. Got some ideas about it. I know how to use it, I know what to do with it, and I will share that with you. So I will share a couple of things, and to start the video or to kick it off, I will first start with the basics about the lens. So this is an APS-C lens. With a very important button up here, power zoom button. Now, if I'm correct, and I gotta take the specs because I believe I will be wrong otherwise, but this is a 110 millimeter lens, like length, 110 millimeter. It's about 482 grams, if I'm correct. Let me just find it out. Yeah, so it's 482 grams, and it has a 72 millimeter filter thread with 78 millimeter diameter. I'll show you also from the top how it looks. And this is mounted on a Sony a7 III at the moment, so just to get the idea, this is a full frame camera, but we're using APS-C lens on it. Why did I do this? First of all, in my last video I showed you the 24-105 lens, the full frame lens from Sony, but I did not like that lens because it's way heavier. I believe it's about 683 grams, which is a good amount more than this one, and I told you I would never take that lens hiking. Now this is another thing, because I would definitely take this lens with me hiking. Now, a couple of things that we will discuss, and I want to bring the price up front now in the beginning, is that this lens comes at less than half of the price of the full frame. So the full frame retails at 1,200 euros. This lens retails at 500 euros. You might get deals on it, however, I don't know. You can find your ways. Right off the bat, out of the box, first thing that I noticed is the weight of this lens. Second thing that I noticed is that if I put the lens hood, you know how it should be up there to you know, protect from the sun, it's not gonna fit in my favorite camera bag, which is a Thule. That's the first thing, you know, that I noticed. So that's why I'm having it, you know, the other way around, mostly when it's in the bag. But yeah, that's for that. The next thing is that I took it for a spin the same day that I received it. So I was in the same park out here, and this happened to me. So about 3 to 4 times when I put the camera back into the bag with the lens and I took it out of the bag again, it failed on me. It gave me this error message that the lens is not compatible or whatever. So what I had to do every time is detach the lens, attach it back again, and it worked fine. But still, that's a big issue that I don't want to pay that money for. So I was kind of worried about it, and I contacted the supplier that I got it from. They couldn't figure it out, so they sent me through to Sony. Now Sony, I talked to Sony on the phone. They couldn't figure it out. They made a ticket, and a couple of days later now they sent me an email, which I thought, like, for real, guys. So basically what they did is send an email with choice number 1, update the camera. Choice number 2, update the lens. If that doesn't work out, send both for repair. And I was like, what, homie? That's not gonna happen. Crazy. So yeah, that dilemma. Then I started thinking about it, like, what can this be? So before getting the answer, so thinking back to my Panasonic days, Lumix, when I used a lot of Samyang lenses, I thought of one option that might be useful for this combination of the APS-C lens and the full frame camera, and that is the option to put release without lens option on. A lot of options. And what do you know? From the day that I did that until today, it worked perfectly fine. So I never had that issue anymore. However, when you just pay 500 bucks for a brand new lens, you don't expect that and you don't know what to do. So I'm still figuring out what to do. That's why I took it out today again in these circumstances. A little bit cold, not too cold, but I want to see if the cold has something to do with it. And let's just take some pictures and figure it out. However, for today, I did take the release without lens option off. So just to test it out, let me try to put it on. It works. So I hope it was like a small bug, whatever. Also, there's some stuff on the internet that sometimes you might like. Just take the lens off, clean it off, and then put it back on, and it will work perfectly fine, because there are these metal attachments up here like connectors, and if they're dirty, the camera will not recognize the lens, or the lens will not recognize the camera, whatever. So yeah, that's one thing that you got to keep in mind with that. However, for today's test, we're gonna go on with the user experience, and I'm gonna tell you a lot about this lens, at least whatever came up in my mind, coming from the MFT landscape to the full frame landscape, and what you can expect from this. Let's proceed. Now, as I told you about the price and the specifics of the lens, we're gonna go a little deeper into this. Now, there are also some bonus features, and the reason that I chose this lens over the full frame is mainly the millimeter size. So this starts at 18 millimeter, goes up to 105, and the full frame lens starts at 24 and goes also to, there's a couple of dogs out here, so the full frame starts also at, no, it starts at 24, ends up at 105. So with this one you get like 6 millimeters wider range. That is part number one, why I would love this lens better. Number two, it's the weight, of course, that it's a lot lighter at this lens over the full frame. Part number three is something that the full frame lens does not have and this lens has, which I think is a big plus. Now check this out. It's the button that I talked to you about, or that I showed you, that I told you about. It's the power zoom. And what this button does, I will show you. This is what happens. It just zooms by itself. So it's not a manual zooming anymore. That's a cool trick. It's not even a trick, but there's the extra option that the full frame lens doesn't have, as in this lens does have it, and it's way older. And I think the fact that it's so old, I think it was brought out in 2015, if I'm correct. That makes it maybe a lot cheaper than a full frame. Of course, also the fact that it's an APS-C. I want to show you that it has normal zoom rings. So this is the zoom ring, this is the focus ring. So you do have those options in there. However, it's up to you how you want to use them. I do like this automatic button a lot. And if I would rate it, I would say that I would use it 50-50%. I just like to do everything manual, but this is a super extra good option to have out there. So keep that in mind. Next thing that you got to keep in mind when using an APS-C on full frame is that you got to have the option in there. If you will use it without the APS-C mode on, or the 35mm, this lens will look crappy. You cannot use this lens on a full frame without having the option turned on. So it's a very basic one. I'm gonna show you. There you go, popping up cam, and in the menu, so menu number one, you have to choose this option, manual and on, and that's the way to go with it. And I will show you what it looks like if you do not have the manual mode in there, or the on option at least. So here it goes on off, and this is what you will see. This is your lens. So horrible vignetting, it's full of vignette. Now we're gonna put the mode on. There you go. And now the lens is perfectly fine, so it's cutting out everything that it doesn't need, and it goes into APS-C mode. That's a beautiful thing. You just use APS-C lens, half of the money, even more than that, on a full frame, and it works perfectly. So another thing that I want to do in these videos is, or in this video, is make a comparison between shooting with a 50mm, how the bokeh will look like, and shooting with this lens at 50mm and see how the bokeh will look like. I'm not going to talk about multiplier factors between the APS-C and full frame in this video, because there's a lot of stuff like that on the net already. You know, the factor of APS-C to full frame is 1.53, so you gotta multiply. However, I don't need that, you know, I'm just looking at the lens and I'm just using what I'm using. Keeping in mind that you're shooting on an APS-C. Here's another thing that comes up in my mind, that the full frame lens did not have 1,200 euros. Come on, man. So this lens, 500 bucks, and it has the function that I want to have in there. And what is it? Let me show you. So here's the function that I'm missing on a full frame camera. A very simple option for me to show me what millimeters we are shooting on, where the zoom is at. Can you believe the full frame did not have that? That's horrible. Okay, so that's the next reason why I love this lens, because I see what I'm shooting at. I'm having that information before post-processing or before looking at a picture on a computer, on a phone, whatever. I know already what the millimeters is at. I do like that. So one other thing that you got to keep in mind is that this is a constant f4.0 aperture, so you can use it constantly at 4. I think it stops at about 22. I never use that. I think that some people use it for sharpness. However, I never go up there. I like to shoot at 4, you know, it's all good with me. Now, another extra feature that I do like with this lens on top of versus the full frame is that this lens does not extend. This is an internal zooming lens, which means if you're zooming, nothing is moving out, everything stays in place. It's internal. Full frame did not have that. The 24 to 105 is extending. Maybe not a lot, but I don't like it when it extends. I just like this. This is perfect. So another one on top of the full frame. Now the usage. You might be wondering, what can you use this lens for? As far as my personal opinion, this is my go-to lens right now. I'm using it for everything. You can use it for landscapes, you can use it in a city, street photography, you can use it for portraits, you can use it for architecture, you know, whatever. It's such a wide range, 18 to 105, that you can do anything with it, everything with it, you know. So it's you can do whatever you want. Alright, it's very open. It's very open for creativity, movie, photos, whatever you want to do. It's very open for that. But there's one thing, it's like a bonus feature, but in the last days I've been trying it out and I don't think it's a bonus, but you do have that, let me say it correctly, the zoom option, which is called the optical zoom, the clear image zoom, or the digital zoom. Now I saw somewhere on the net, someone posted that it's the best to use the, what was it? The clear image zoom, and I did notice this one goes up to 4 times, as in the digital zoom goes up to 8 times, if I'm correct. Let me show you. So here it is. Now, if you're gonna use this, this is the result, and look at the zooming information. It goes past 105, it goes up to 2.5, ends up at 4. So this is as far as you can zoom in, focus in, but I don't like this. I'm not going to use this, so it's not for me. Also, you can only do this with JPEGs. This is not going to work for RAW. Now let's go back to this choice and let's use digital zoom. Now the option will change now that you can go up, as you see, up to 8 times zoom. So this is crazy zooming. I suppose you do need to use a tripod for this one, but the image will be so blurry and fake and plasticky that I don't like using it, so I just don't use it. I'm comfortable at being at 105. That's the max, and keep it there. There you go. That's it. You don't need it. If you want to play around with it, you can do it, but the quality will be very bad. So I'm not going to use that. And let me go back to my RAW, because I love my RAWs. But it's in there if you want to use it. You can definitely use it. You might have fun with it. I mean, if you're gonna use it for social media, it's not gonna look that bad, but for me, I shoot RAW, so I might experiment with it later. But you saw the options. You got 4 times, 8 times, whatever. Make your research, do your research, use whatever you want to use, and that's it, you know. Now, as I told you before, I'm not going to explain stuff that's already explained by people with more experience on the net, you know, on the internet. I'm just gonna give you my user experience. So distortion and all that, I thought about putting it in the video. If you guys want to, you can just comment, I'll do that. But there's people doing it better out there. They're focusing on that, you know. As far as just using it, this is my video about it. What I will do though is take some pictures today in different light circumstances and then show you what it looks like. I have another video that I recorded. I might combine it together with this one and tell you some more things about the lens. But for now, I guess this is it. And maybe I'll do a little vlogging test. See, let's do it now. So I'm turning the camera to video mode. We are at speed 60. So let's just shoot it in, I think in 24 frames. Okay, so we got the speed at 125, f4.0 with ISO at 250. I gotta put the focus on continuous focus, and as you see, because it's such a big lens, I'm holding it by the lens, not the camera. And let's try it out. So just pressing on the focus first and see how it is used as a vlogging lens. If it's good, if it's not good, you know. Like, I don't use the cameras for that, but you never know. Let's see how it reacts on other stuff. Oh, by accident I'm pressing the zoom button. Now you can also see how the zoom button reacts. Let's go to 105. I got a lot of light in here, so I know, but let's do something about it. Focus. Where's the focus? Just to give you an idea. And then zooming out all the way again. And it's nice how you see the lens inside moving, you know. And how does it react to the circumstances? Yep, that's it for now. This is it. I'm gonna be busy with editing the video, and then I will put it out there so you guys can watch it. I hope this is it. If there's more info I can help anybody with, just let me know. Put a comment in there, you know how it goes. And yeah, that's the user experience. Telling you at this moment my feelings about this lens is, this is my go-to lens, and that's how it will stay now coming days. I'm looking forward to traveling again, so I'll take the lens with me. It's not, you know, like I told you, it's not heavy, it's pretty good. And find out whatever I can, you know, experience with the lens. So I'm pretty confident about this one, pretty comfortable, and pretty happy to have it. So yeah, this is it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Alright, peace out, homes.